Well, Father talked a lot about Foundation Day, and the way he described Foundation Day was the day in which the spirit world and the physical world actually come into one. And when he's talking about coming into one, into union, he's actually talking about the spirit world and physical world actually coming to one, in the conjugal manner. Basically, all of spirit world and all of the physical world. God having that marital relationship with his creation. The problem with the way Foundation Day was conducted was it was a clearly contrary to the way Father was wanting Foundation Day to happen. Foundation Day was supposed to be the day in which the physical world and spirit world can unite, and where God can exert his direct dominion over the earth. But what we saw happening in the Foundation Day with the Han Mother is that she basically usurped Father's throne and usurped his successor. And basically she put herself as a roadblock between God's direct dominion and dominion over this earth. So the spirit world and physical world could not be united on that day, which she presided over. And so the true Foundation Day had to be, delayed, and it was delayed until Father's true successor took his crown, and based upon that, then the vertical subject relationship between the Father and Son could be established, and that now marks the true Foundation Day, which is the day of the crowning of the second king. If she had fulfilled her responsibility as Eve, to throw away her lineage and to serve only the lineage of the Lord of the Second Advent and to promote the lineage of the Second Advent, then she could have brought this world to God's kingdom through his blessing. Now we have to understand that the foundation for the creation of God's kingdom actually doesn't have anything to do with the Han Mother. The foundation for the creation of God's kingdom is the kingdom of the united Cain and Abel. So based upon the unity of Cain and Abel centered upon the Father, that's the foundation by which the kingdom is brought. The role which Mother had was to pick which way God's kingdom would come, whether it would come through God's blessing or God's judgment. And the problem with the Han Mother is that she chose to bring the world to God's kingdom through God's judgment by rejecting Father's direction and Father's appointment of Moon Hyung-jin as the successor and heir to the office of true parent. Father crowned him 3 times in front of the whole world, twice in one day. And he made it clear that he would be his heir and successor, and he would inherit the entire foundation of the church. And that even Mother would basically be the object partner which would have to revolve around the second king. And so clearly, it's undisputable that he is the legitimate inheritor of Father's entire foundation and all of the church's properties. Declaration of the unity of Cain and Abel is basically the requirement for the coming of God's kingdom. It's fulfilling that very key providential role of elder brother and younger brother centered upon the will of the Father. And so, based on that, Father could declare that God's kingdom will come, because he had basically passed on his unity and understanding and love of God from himself to the next generation. And that's what Adam failed to do. He was unable to pass on that to his next generation. His next generations were taken by Satan. And Jesus Christ was successful in passing on spiritual salvation, but he was unable to pass that on to a direct descendant of his. And so Father is the first individual who actually was able to complete the transfer process of transferring God the mission which he had been given as the returning Lord, to pass that mission on to an apostle who was his son. And that's unique in history. The Foundation Day was finally realized when the second king took his proper position and was crowned. So now the direct dominion has been established. But we are in the situation in which we will receive God's kingdom not by His grace or blessing, but by His judgment, because the Han mother in the heretic church has betrayed God. And so they will be judged for the crimes they have committed.